Good morning, everyone. This is Royce coming back at you with yet another Let's Try, as well as a rambling review of Fantastic Four First Steps. For you see, what better thing to pair with the Fab Four, the real Fab Four, not those pretenders from Liverpool, than pairing it with another iconic group. The trio thingy from... Oh, crud, I forgot what it's called. The triple dippers or something from Chili's. Baby back ribs, barbecue sauce, Chili's baby back ribs. And before any of you ask, yes, I went and got this myself. And you can tell because I'm really pissy right now. You might see my eyes are a little watery because I was crying from how angry I get. Because you see, your old pal Royce here, he gets road rage, something bad. Not enough to run people off the road, but enough to scream in the car and ask God why me. So yes, they did pick these up in the store. I didn't use DoorDash for all you who complain about that. Meh. Anyway, so we're gonna try these, and I'm going to talk about the Fantastic Four. Now what I think is gonna happen is I'm gonna try a bite of each and give my non-spoilery thoughts before we go into the actual film. Now, let's start off with the chicken crispers. Apparently, it used to be something else, or the chicken crispers used to be a different recipe and got changed. Oh shoot, I shouldn't have dipped it. I should try it plain first. Very normal fried chicken. Initial thoughts, it's not as good as Superman. That ranch is amazing. Now the Southwestern egg roll. Well, we'll save that one for last because that's supposed to be their big hot ticket item. So let's try their slider next. A little dry, a little chewy. At least it's better than that awful tiger meat sandwich. Now let's try the Southwestern egg roll. Corn, beans, kind of meh. Kind of just bland mush. Probably would have been better in the store, you know, fresh off the grill. Or fresh out of the fryer. Alright. Now, I'm going to give a quick rundown of what I thought about the film, and then we'll go into spoilers. It is okay. It is nothing new. I didn't fall asleep during it, but there wasn't ever a time where I felt enthralled. I think they should have deepened Ben's voice a little bit. Johnny's actor looks a little weird. I don't know. Maybe I just don't like blonde people. Alright, that's it. Spoiler reviews. Also the 60s aesthetic is cool, but I wish they'd embraced it a little more, you know, done more, like, 1, practical effects, 2, retrofuturism. Alright, let's go. Alright. They cut out spoilers start now. They cut out John Malkovich, those sons of bitches. I was told John Malkovich would be in the movie as Red Ghost. I saw no John Malkovich. Rip off. How dare you, sir? How dare you? So I don't go to Chili's very often, and the reason I'm trying this is because apparently millennials have really been embracing, or Gen Z has really been embracing, uh, these guys. And one of the best cooking duos on YouTube, Josh and Nicole, made a fancy version of it on Fancy Fast Food. They sort of embraced, or they sort of translated this all as like Asian cuisine for that, and because Chili's is Southwestern cuisine, and so their fancified take on that was Southwestern Asian cuisine. Or Southwestern China. Southwest Asia would be like India. Now, I didn't know this because you never really get a sense of scale from maps as a kid. But India is so big, they refer to it as a subcontinent, which I didn't know. I think that is actually fairly common knowledge. It just skipped me. Anyway, I'm back to the movie. So, the key focus of the film is, and I think they spoil this in the trailers, but Galactus wants Franklin Richards to absorb his powers so that he can finally be rid of his hunger. Which I thought they were going to go the exact opposite route. And Galactus was going to be like, this child has such a boundless amount of energy within him that he is the one thing that could finally sate my hunger. In other words, he was going to eat the baby. That's the route I thought they were going to go. But no. Galactus wanted to funnel his power into Franklin and finally be free of him, or be free of his horrible curse. God, this is just slop in here. Look at that. Ugh, it's mush with beans and corn. This is your guy. The ribs were so much better. Of course, it's not the triple dipper unless you triple dip. Like, yeah, there's some caramelized onions on here, and what is it? Oh, that's bacon. The weirdest thing to me was Mycroft Holmes from the BBC Sherlock playing the night host, or the late show host. Um, because he is trying so hard to do an American accent, and he just can't. It makes, I take back all the mean things I said about, um, I said about Benedict Cumberbatch's American accent. That accent is garbage. Like, he's a talented actor. He's really good in Sherlock. I was okay in that stupid Mission Impossible movie my dad drugged me to. But man, he cannot do an American accent. And he didn't even need to. Like, I'm sure there were British late show hosts back in the 60s. Oh, and, excuse me. The Thing starts flirting with that girl from, the one show by Ryan Johnson. Is it Ryan or Rian? Excuse me. Johnson. And it seems, and like, they kind of hint toward the fact that Ben, I believe, is supposed to be Jewish because she teaches at a Hebrew school. Yeah. Trying to think now. A guy named Ralph Ineson plays Galactus, who the face he looks a lot like James Gunn's brother. But the voice sounded so much like Corey Burton. Specifically, Corey Burton doing his Christopher Lee impression that he did for Dooku and for Yen Sid. Seriously, look up Yen Sid Kingdom Hearts and Dooku from Clone Wars. And that's literally what Galactus sounds like. Corey Burton is a fantastic actor, by the way. Like, he is amazing as Hugo Strange in Arkham City. Much better than what's his name is as Ra's al Ghul. Like, look, I have been a defender of white Ra's al Ghuls in the past. I still hold David Warner in high regard. I like Liam Neeson. I even like Jason Isaac. But the version of Ra's in Arkham Asylum, or Arkham City, is so poorly done. Because, again, look it up. It's not, it doesn't have the gravitas that you need for that character. Anyway, this is about Galactus, who has a lot of gravitas. We have the female Silver Surfer, who everyone, and I think, is talking about. For some reason, and I don't know why, her feet are shown a lot. Like, an inordinate amount. And I know you're probably like, Royce, that's weird and fetishy. But, like, the Silver Surfer in the Marvel Comics has always had a shoe-like thing. You know what I mean? Like, his foot is supposed to, their foot, in this case, is supposed to be like very nondescript. It's supposed to be like a shoe. Showing her bare toes feels like you're playing to some weirdo to the weirdos out there. Same with having Sue give birth. Well, okay, like you don't see it, but I don't like. That's another thing I take issue with is Sue going into space pregnant. And this isn't like one of those, sci-fi into space type things where, the ship can easily take off and has artificial gravity and all this stuff. No, they have a rocket launch, and we see them get, pushed back into their seats. Don't you think that might be a little stressful on the baby? It's like having pregnant Spider-Woman in Spider-Verse, or stuff like that. It feels weird. Uh, Franklin is a real baby, thank God. I was really worried that they would do the fake baby doll from American Sniper, or worse, the CG demon child from Twilight. But no, it is a real baby. He is very cute, or she. Like when it's a baby, like you can get any actor to play it. Well, literally any baby to play it, I should say. Like being an actor, I believe, involves some form of consent. That it's not consent. That is a baby being on screen. Pedro Pascal. I don't know. Like he's too cool for Reed. Reed is such a nerdy character, and like he needs to be a clueless twit. He's incredibly intelligent, but lacking all social skills and social awareness. And it's such a fine line to do because you could very easily end up with like Jesse Eisenberg Jesse Eisenberg's like Lex Luthor or something. He has to be adorably dorky. But Pedro Pascal oozes coolness. Like even in his professorial attire and the comic accurate woolen tights from this fantastic. He still looks. He doesn't look like Reed Richards. He looks like Pedro Pascal. He looks too cool. Oh, there was one or two times when the baby was CGI and it looked so awful. By the way, the art on Galactus also was pretty weird. They gave him like a synthetic face. Like it looked like his face was made of moving tiles or something. And also he's so dark. Like his color palette is all very dark muted purple. And I think it's kind of dumb that they went for the really insane, the really goofy comic accurate Fantastic Four, but then immediately, Galactus is still Marvel slop. It's like this movie is two separate movies that collided together. You have this retro future or utopian Fantastic Four film, and then you have a MCU Fantastic Four film, and they collide at weird points. The let's see what the mid-credit scene is Doctor Doom, and he commits the one sin, the cardinal sin. He took his mask off. Doom does not take his mask off. The only time Vic ever took his mask off is when he was dining with Conan, and Conan basically negged him into taking his mask off. So you're very vain then. Just does it to prove a point. Like, no, that is a perfect time for Vic to take his mask off. Which, by the way, like, oh man, I wish I should get that comic sometime to read it. The one where Doctor Doom, Conan, and Doctor Strange team up. That's because Conan is like a classic. Robert E. Howard, kind of a weird dude, but he's from the 1910s. They were all weird back then. For God's sakes, he was a luminary and apparently pen pal of H.P. Lovecraft, according to some of my friends. Apparently, he also did like a bunch of stuff involving a witch hunter named Solomon Kane. And like, Solomon Kane hates two things in this world: witches and the Spanish. Damn Puritan. Wait, aren't I? No, I'm not a Puritan. I'm Lutheran. That's different, right? One day, I really should look into the difference between the Protestant sects. One time I was working concessions and told people that I was actually a Pentecostal to avoid selling them alcohol. I just don't want to sell them alcohol. I was like 22 at the time. I just, anyway. And I was explained to me later that the Pentecostals are a cult. I just Googled Christian sects that don't imbibe alcohol. Which, whoops. Because, and of course I didn't want to do Mormon. Oh Lord, this has been a weird tangent. The movie is okay. I should have, I wish I'd gone to see Thunderbolts. I still haven't seen Thunderbolts, but it tries to set up so much stuff. And like, I feel like it kind of loses its connection to simplicity, Which is weird, because Superman juggles a lot of balls and manages to juggle them very well. But James Gunn is kind of James Gunn and his crew, like, no man is an island. They have, they've made this very easy to digest pill. And part of it is it's being helped couch in very, very real world stuff. Like Lex Luthor has this cult dedicated to him that's kind of Musk adjacent. The Barovian dictator, he's kind of doing Russia invading Ukraine, and there's also a little bit of like the Israel-Palestine conflict in there. Corporate branded heroes, yada yada yada. It makes sense, Whereas Fantastic Four tries to set all this stuff up for a world that we're probably not going to see again. Like, I get the feeling that Doomsday, Secret War, whatever they're calling it, is going to end with the Fantastic Four ending up on Earth. But we'll see. I'm still bummed that I never got my John Malkovich. I feel like that would have really helped elevate the film. I think it is funny that Mole Man not only exists, but is also a problem-solving character in the movie. He helps evacuate New York City. It is weird that that instead of like Mole Men, he has minors. Like, not like kids, but like actual minors. I don't know. The actor looks familiar too. I think he's the guy from Fantastic Beasts and Mars Needs Moms and Fanboys. Oh man, listen. Actually, instead of going to see Fantastic Four, rent Fanboys. That's a fun movie. And it's got Sam Huntington, Jay Baruchel, the guy I had just mentioned, and it's got cameos by everyone. It even has Seth Rogen as both a Trekkie and like a weird Star Wars loving pimp who's got a massive Jar Jar tattoo. Just go watch Fanboys. Don't watch Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four is fine. It's God. Is it better than the original Fantastic Four movie from 2005? Like, Fantastic Four 2005, fuck. I might actually have to give it to Fantastic Four 2005 because, one, the conflict was much more down to earth. Two, Michael Chiklis and Chris Evans have unfathomable riz. Three, Stan Lee was in it. And I know that's kind of a handicap for any movie made after 2018, but and four, the fantastic part, Chris Evans has to turn into Super Skrull to fight Silver Doom in the sequel, and that's kind of cool. Granted, that Doom takes his mask off too, and Nip Tuck was a terrible Doom. But still, at least his costume design was cool. When he actually wore the coat with the hood and the mask, that was cool. Chill out, big boy. I saw in the paper it was his birthday a few days ago. Anyway, I think that's gonna be it for me today. I'm sorry this was such a long, meandering discussion, and the food went away a long time ago. Honestly, is this your boy? Is this your boy, Chili's? This is the thing everyone likes from you? But y'all have a good one. This is Royce Miller. I'm outie. It's a mediocre appetizer for a mediocre movie. How about that? Y'all have a good one. I'm outie. Bye-bye.